Meanwhile, President-elect Trump has tapped ExxonMobil's chairman and CEO to be his Secretary of State. Rex Tillerson, once confirmed, would be the nation's top diplomat. Foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan has a closer look at the businessman's background as well as his possible influence on American diplomacy.
Well, Rex Tillerson would be the first Secretary of State in decades to take the job with no government experience. If he's confirmed, he'll be America's face to the world, America's chief diplomat. Now, he does have very deep relationships in places like Russia and Saudi Arabia. Diplomats there are very comfortable with him. Arab diplomats tell me they're hopeful he's going to push back against Iran's expansion in the Middle East and not tear up that nuclear deal. European allies have been flying here privately urging the Trump team to do the same, keep that agreement, and also keep the International Climate Change Accord. Because keep in mind, ExxonMobil has recognized climate change is a real security threat. So does this mean that Rex Tillerson is going to break from Donald Trump and actually keep that accord in place? One of the biggest concerns I'm hearing from American diplomats is a question of how does Trump want to position the U.S. in the long term? Will Rex Tillerson be a transactional Secretary of State or a strategic one? Meaning, is he simply cutting deals or is he positioning America in the long term for something more that we haven't heard articulated? So right now, we do know Rex Tillerson comes to this job needing to smooth out any rough edges left by Trump, particularly with his tough talk on trade with Beijing. China is very much needed to counter that threat from nuclear North Korea. And now there's this question. Is Vladimir Putin also going to follow through on striking a deal with Rex Tillerson, as Trump has suggested? The concern there is, does that come at the expense of defending American values like human rights if you cut a deal with someone who is accused of war crimes for actions in Syria and in Ukraine? So there's a lot of concern on all of those fronts, but those deep relationships mean that on day one, Rex Tillerson will be able to have comfortable conversations with a lot of world leaders. One certainty here is that whoever is his number two at the State Department, perhaps John Bolton, is going to be key in helping Tillerson navigate a very deep and complicated bureaucracy. Josh?